Hey everyone, welcome back to Menominee Bay. I'm Prez, and this is our Midwest city set in the winter, dead of winter, here in Wisconsin on the Illinois border. And the fact that this is on the Illinois border is really important for this episode because today we're going to be building a station. This station is actually a passenger rail station. It is a terminus of a Metra line. If you don't know what Metra is, it's the kind of commuter rail service for the Chicago metro area. Disclaimer for all of the Metra super fans in the comments, I am not an expert on Metra. I have never ridden Metra. I have only been into Chicago through O'Hare. I don't even know if it was O'Hare. It was one of the airports when I was like 3 years old. So I have not been to Chicago. Let's just say that. I'm also not, I love, studying transportation, learning about transportation and how to do it right. I'm not like a civil engineering expert of any sort. I'm not an expert on the infrastructure used to, like the facilities that Metra might use at a terminus of a station like this. So I'm just kind of going off what I see and what I understand. I don't know what specific locomotives Metra runs on each individual line. Like I'm not coming from that perspective. So just quick disclaimer there for the Metra nerds in the comments. I'd love to hear from you though, and just let me know how I did, and if I did anything obscenely wrong, then maybe I'll change it. Just let me know in the comments what you think. And even anybody who isn't a extreme Metra nerd or rail fan of any sort, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments as you kind of watch what I built. But right here, what we're doing, I placed the station over there pretty quickly. All of this footage comes from a live stream we did last week, which reminds me, if you're interested, I'm going to be streaming in a couple hours once again at 3 p.m. Eastern Time or 12 p.m. Pacific. I will be streaming the day this video goes live here on YouTube, and you can check out in the description. I will be linking the page to the scheduled stream, so you can click it and you can hit the bell icon on that page, and it'll notify you when the stream goes live. And I'd love to have you there. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of pre-recording for future episodes, and I'm trying to make it a weekly thing right now. So it'd be great if you could come to the stream a little later. If not, the recording will be up on YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it then. But it's nice to interact with everybody. Anyway, this footage is all from the stream, or at least the first half of the videos from the stream. So right now we're kind of finishing up with these apartment buildings over here. I keep getting to something I want to talk about after I finish building it. But anyway, those are kind of based on what I'm seeing in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is I'm presuming a railroad suburb of Chicago, meaning it developed before even streetcars and wealthy people would kind of escape to it on the train. And I'm presuming that's how it initially developed based on its morphology. But right now the station is definitely not the original station from what I can tell, and it does have a bunch of more modern townhouses and stuff around it, and that's basically what I'm going for here. Although this is a lot more compact and there's not going to be as much industrial influence around it, and I'm not going to do as much newer development around this specific station. Sorry. A lot of it's going to be older development because there isn't much to fill in terms of old industry that is no longer used that can be replaced with apartment buildings. So instead, we've got all these suburbs that you can see me placing right now. We haven't really gotten around before this episode to placing proper suburban homes here, or at least not necessarily even suburban. This is I don't know if you could really call these suburbs. These are very much in the city. They're about as inner ring as you can get, so to speak, with suburbs, and they are beautiful homes that are a really diverse array of architectural styles, and making sure to place a lot of brick buildings here, because I know that's something that you'll see in a place like Menominee Bay here in Wisconsin. But we've got a variety of different architectural styles from different places. But the cool thing about Snowfall is you don't really have to detail all that much. You also don't have to worry about all the different variations in buildings. It allows you to use a lot more types of buildings than you normally would be able to, because they just get covered in snow and they all look generally the same, and you just see the overall outline and it just looks super realistic. And I'm happy with the graphics mods, and it was kind of surprising how well they came together. Anyway, another thing I wanted to just mention quickly. I'm editing this in Premiere. I haven't used Premiere in something like a year and a half or more. It's been a long time. I used to use Premiere, exclusively, but then I switched to DaVinci Resolve. But I've figured out a solution, I believe, to my 4K editing problem I've been talking about, and now proxies are generating properly, and basically it means that I can edit smoothly, and I'm using Premiere, but that might lead to a couple of hiccups, but just excuse those as I relearn Premiere, which kind of sounds embarrassing to say, but it happens. Anyway, we're going to hop into some cinematics here to just take a look at what we've just built, mostly just these suburbs here. But then I want to hop back in game and work on the station some more and answer some questions. If you're enjoying so far, if you think I've done an okay job of representing your precious region of the United States, a like would be highly appreciated. Talking to those Midwesterners out there, because I know a disproportionate amount of people. Like, see, the thing is, I'm addressing people just as if everybody watching is a Midwesterner. It's just, I know that the Midwesterners out there are probably the most intensely watching the series, so I'm addressing them very directly, but I know there are others out there. Just anybody here, if you enjoy, a like would be highly appreciated. But Midwesterners, if I've done an okay job, leave a like. If I haven't, maybe do that as well if you're enjoying. But definitely leave feedback in the comments about how I'm doing here. And specifically with this, rail yard here, I don't know what I'm doing. I know very little about logistics and actual rolling stock stuff with regards to regional transportation systems. I'm more of like a, macro picture, like history policy kind of person in terms of what I'm currently studying, at least. But this is something I really do want to learn about. So I'm just kind of aesthetically portraying what I assume this looks like in real life and what purposes this might serve. I'm assuming this would be keeping rolling stock that's not being used in the middle of the day, stuff like that. I might have overdone it with the amount of trains that I placed there and the way I placed them. I know I placed a lot of full trains, and that's not necessarily how you might have something like that. Just for temporary storage, and maybe there are repairs conducted here. There's this old engine shed that's probably not being used here. I know there isn't rail that leads up to it. Maybe it's used for something else now. I don't know. Point is, I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm okay with kind of admitting that and just going along with making a really aesthetically pleasing train station here that I would love to improve a little bit. If you have any suggestions for how I could do so, these trains from the workshop the props are excellent. We actually have vehicles for those as well, and those will be going to the station once I get it all connected up and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. Starting off with the Q&A here, once again, it's conducted through my Discord. You can join in the description. We'd love to have you. We got hundreds of people on here now talking about all sorts of stuff. Real life cities, skyline cities, videos, anything like that. And there's a Q&A channel where you can ask questions for me to answer in the Q&A in the video. So let me get through as many as I can here. Starting off with Jan, have you ever planned on adding an airport, even if it's a small regional airport, to Menominee Bay? I'm not planning on it. I'm definitely not planning on adding that air show that is apparently in Oshkosh. I don't know anything about it. It's not that I don't care about aviation, it's just I'm not too interested in it, and it's really a hassle to build airports in this game. But depending on how long the series goes, it's possible. We'll see. Probably not. Next question from Jotaro Cujo. How often do you upload? I'm currently uploading once a week, and I'm really intent on trying to keep that going. I've been really busy, studying recently, so this last half year or so it's been a little inconsistent, but I'm looking to get very consistent with weekly uploads and weekly streams, and then beyond then I can maybe consider doing a second upload in a week if I get really efficient with my editing workflow. But I've restricted myself to only doing that after I'm consistent for a while. So currently once a week on Fridays, same time this went live. The next question is from Jeremy Thunder. Do you ever think about doing smaller scenes? So Jeremy's talking about doing like 1 to 2 episode moments like within a city, like really mini builds. Like if this is a mini build, like a micro build almost. Almost like if you know who Crumbs McGee is, what Crumbs McGee used to do. And the answer is yes, I've got those kind of planned. I've tried to do one in the past. It was like actually a Metro Gold Line in LA. I was going to do a station in Pasadena, but it was just too much work for one episode, and I'd really just have to pick the right projects that I can actually do in one single episode that are, unrelated to cities that I'm working on. If they are related to cities that I'm working on, I'll probably just build them in the cities themselves. But I'm definitely interested in doing that, and I see this as kind of a precursor to that. No promises, though. We'll see. Next question from Eric is, what's your favorite larger size city in the Midwest? I will probably have to go with Chicago on that one, just because of how amazing the architecture is, and how transit accessible the city is. But I could also go with Minneapolis, St. Paul, which I guess you could kind of consider one unit, just because of the regional planning. I think it's awesome what's going on in Minneapolis, St. Paul with regional planning, and I think the cycling community is awesome there. I know there's a big cycling community in Chicago too, so that's really cool. I don't know. I don't really have too much experience with the region, but those are 2 of my favorite places. The next question is from Lien, and the question is the Netherlands going to return anytime soon? And the answer is probably not. Like, I don't have any imminent plans on recording it, but it's not officially like over or anything. Like, I don't expect it to be. I don't think my asset count or anything, or like my what's currently placed in the city is badly executed by any means. And it's just once I have a little more time to be able to put the proper effort in to make it a properly realistic Dutch city, which is more effort for an American than you think. Then I'll consider uploading again. But right now it's I don't really have the time or wherewithal to go through all the extra effort required to make such a specific city. On the other hand, sorry if this is the way this is broken to you, but Columbia City's over. I decided, kind of made the final decision on stream last week. It's over. I can't really justify continuing to remove assets, then add them back again, then need to remove other assets. And it's just this cycle of I planned the city wrong. I added too many assets initially. I added too much detail to the city. I chose the wrong, assets for, frame rate optimization. It's my RAM is not happy with anything, and it's not worth continuing to patch it up forever. And it's better that we end it sooner rather than later. But I'm just as disappointed as any of you. Like, it's my favorite city I've ever made, and I've built a lot of cities in this game, and it really sucks needing to decide to end it. But I promise you, whatever comes after, whatever form it takes, like, I'm planning some stuff, but whatever comes after, you will like equally as much or more, and I'm really excited to share that with you. No imminent plans. It's going to be like a longer term thing. I'm not sure when it'll be released, but I'm kind of starting to work on an alternative series. Well, there should be a cinematic video and hopefully an in-game city tour as well, with a bad frame rate, but nonetheless an in-game city tour to close off the series. So look forward to those in the coming weeks. But yeah, Columbia City's over. I'm sorry. I'm really disappointed too, but yeah. Anyway, let's stop being sad and disappointed and hop in game and just take a look at what I built, because I haven't really been able to talk about it for a while, but I'd like to show you the street I just built and all the stuff around it. All right, folks, we're here on a strode. If you don't know what a strode is, it's a street and a road combined, meaning it both tries to serve human activity like shops, etc., but also tries to have traffic go really, really fast at the same time. And it's just bad because there are lots of traffic accidents. There are people pulling in and out of parking spaces all the time. It is just bad design, and it's not livable at all. So regardless, you'll see a lot of these in hollowed out areas in Midwest towns throughout the country. And it sucks, but this is what you got. You got a lot of really inefficient land uses on places where there used to be beautiful old brick buildings. Some of those brick buildings are still left standing, but it's kind of struggling, and at least the parking lots can be filled in with new development again in the future. But it's a large mistake, just the way this has been revised by planners in history. But regardless, it looks pretty realistic. I mean, look at the color of that brick. Like, that's exactly what I was going for here. The crisp autumn look. If you're wondering, these are my settings. You can pause the video. Let's see, Alt-Shift-L for relight, and then open Ultimate Eye Candy over here. Those are my graphic settings. I'm using the Relight 3 Soft LUT. Those are my graphic settings if you want to copy them for yourself or just see what I'm using. Because I figure I'm not really going to revise them throughout the series. Like, I'm really happy with these. So I figure I'll share them with you there. But yeah, that's the Strode we built. We also built a bunch of other development over here. Just various neighborhoods. I want to show you what it looks like on the ground, though, because I'm very happy with this. I feel like so for a lot of these like wider streets, that these suburban streets that have been widened in the past, that might be like, you know, in core suburbs, but they'll still be widened to make room for more cars. Like, this is totally unnecessary. Well, these places will have a lot of the time street trees to cover up for how empty they would look without them. So you'll notice some trees have streets, some don't. Let's see. Let's find a good example of what it looks like without proper street trees. What you got to kind of look for is something like this, where you don't really have buildings that are, you know, tall enough for, like, compared to the street next to them. This isn't actually that bad. It gets way worse. This is an inner ring kind of suburb, so you're not going to see it being too bad here. But that's if you're wondering why it looks so awesome here, it's just because the street feels contained by the trees. And I love all these little homes that are also diverse. They've got different things going on with them. Yeah. Anyway, that's that neighborhood. And that's kind of how it integrates with the main street and stuff. And there's the Strode. We built this neighborhood on a stream, and then I detailed it separately. But there's just a bunch of this going on here. And as you can see, it looks really kind of empty driving down this street without proper, you know, tree lining. But that could be solved by having higher density buildings that are taller and that match the street more. With it, you know, you're just not going to have that in certain areas. So a lot of the time, trees will fill that gap and create that cover to make the street look, you know, comfy and safe and contained. But anyway, we also built, as you might remember from the whole premise of the video, this train station here. We got transit-oriented development next to it. These apartment buildings that were built pretty recently to probably fill in, you know, some sort of industrial development there. And the train station, once again, it's got this rail yard that I'm not sure is 100% realistic, but I'm pretty happy with nonetheless. And the platforms can definitely use some revision. Kind of a weird platform building. We'll see how that goes in the future. Yeah, this is the station, and there's the parking garage back there. I love it. I'd love to know what you think about it as well in the comments section down below. But I'm pretty sure I've done an okay job this episode. I'm just trying to, like, reassure myself that I'm not totally butchering this. But you know, I'm just trying to get a grip of what you Midwestern folks are you know, railing on about how awesome your region is, and I'm kind of getting it. Like, look at that. That is just so classic and cool, like, and crisp, and just so many adjectives I could use to describe this image. One, like, because there was a question in the last video in the Q&A about I think it was the last video, about why people kind of enjoy the Midwest, or have been asking for a Midwest series for so long. And I think it's because I think I gave some sort of answer similar to this in the video, but I guess there's this concept of permanence. Like, even though some stuff has been hollowed out in certain areas, it's been like that, you know, throughout the country. But the buildings, the built environment in the Midwest just feels like it's there to stay. And it feels just really, like, just, it feels right. I don't know. There's a really good sense of permanence in the Midwest. And I feel like a lot of that's due to culture, a lot of that's due to the built environment. But just this street, even though the street's got some problems, it still seems pretty resilient, and some of these old buildings are still being, used and maintained, and it's, you know, it's resilient. Anyway, that's about it. I wanted to ask a quick question as well before we go. I was just wondering what you guys thought of the amount of Q&A time that I have per video. I've been increasing that pretty steadily, but I feel like it's kind of cutting into the time-lapse commentary. So I was wondering if you had any ideas for how I should go about, you know, answering questions in videos, how much time I should dedicate to Q&A questions, how maybe I should do more rapid fire questions, anything to solve that problem, because I feel like it is really cutting into the time lapse, and I really wish I could have talked about this build over here, this street or strode or whatever you want to call it, in the time lapse a little bit more, and I just feel like that was cut into by the Q&A, which is, I love doing the Q&A. It's you know, it's almost like I'm doing a podcast on top of the video itself. There's actually something going on in game that I got to talk about. So I'd love to hear some feedback from you on what to do about that. But other than that, we're going to close it off. Hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, rating would be highly appreciated. Leave a like if you want more people to see the videos. Join our community here in Menominee Bay. And you can check out the stream in the description of the video if you want to check it out a little later. Join us at least for a little bit, or watch the recording when it's done. You can click the link in the description. And if you want to support me on Patreon, you can get early access to videos. You can get your name in the credits. You can get shout-outs. Quick shout-out to Tracy Larson, VLDC1000, Antoine Robert, or Robert, I'm not sure how you want to pronounce your last name there, CJ, and Rodney Green. Thank you all so much for being patrons. Patrons also get access at certain tiers to the save game downloads. So if you want to pop into Menominee Bay here and fly around, I would recommend checking that option out over on Patreon. Really appreciate it. And there's also an option to just give a one-time donation if you want to do that over on my Ko-fi page, or you could do a yearly contribution thing through Patreon, so it's like not a recurring thing, or as much of a recurring thing, I guess. I don't know, your choice. Or if you could just comment on the videos and give feedback where you want to, and just keep watching. And I appreciate it either way. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next episode of Menominee Bay, Winter in the Midwest, as this truck barrels down the street. There you go. See you guys later.